Guys, did you know that 1 in 18 people have a third nipple, known as polytelia, and this third nipple is caused by a mutation in inactive genes? Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing fine. So for this week, I didn't get to watch a lot and listen to a lot, so we're going to be doing Am I the Asshole? So I'm just going to be sharing some stories from Reddit that revolves around Am I the Asshole, and maybe give in my 2 cents on each of the stories. So let's get right into today's video. For my first story, in case you see me looking down, I'm just going to be reading it from the iPad. The first story is what is going on in my relationship. This is not really part of the Am I the Asshole, but I found this one so interesting and I wanted to share it with you guys. So let's start the story. I, 25 female, have been in my relationship with my partner, 44 male, for about a year now. From the differences in the age, I feel like it's already a red flag. 25 and 44 is a whole lot. And everything has been pretty good up until this point. Good communication, transparency, and effort. However, the past couple of months have been a challenge and I am not sure what is going on. It's always subtle things he will say that irritates me, like a slight condescending or dismissive tone. When I check it and say, for example, why are you being facial, dismissive, condescending, he will completely deny that was his intention and apologize that I took it that way. This happens 3 to 4 times a week and I feel like I'm going crazy. Last night, it looked like this. At dinner, we argued about who has more screen time on their phone. It was a light-hearted debate that started to get a little personal. I said, let me say this one last thing. And he says, no, I'm getting the check. I could tell he was getting frustrated and wanted to end the discussion. I know my partner. His face started getting red and he was literally shaking. He comes back from grabbing the check and starts laughing, saying, what's wrong, baby? Let's go. Immediately, I feel myself triggered. He becomes so jovial all of a sudden, saying he's had a great time all dinner and wants to have a good night. I explained how I didn't appreciate him walking away from me while I was talking, and once again, he apologized that I took it that way and that just because I was getting heated doesn't mean he was as well. I understand that there's always 2 perspectives and he communicates that he doesn't feel like I understand his. That once I decide his intention, that's the end of it. I feel like I wouldn't be hyper fixated on his intentions if he didn't make the entire situation about that and how I misconstrue his behavior. I literally cannot accept his explanations because they feel like bullshit. At one point, is there reality and a complete change of it to control the narrative? Like, if someone calls you a fat ass and you get upset, can they just say, that wasn't my intention, it was a term of endearment, I'm sorry you took it that way? And then this poster came again to add that my partner and I are getting in disagreements about his intentions behind specific behaviors. I am not sure how to navigate this. I feel like, first off, the age difference is just a whole lot. And from the age difference already, this is already expected. And I feel like he knows what he's doing and you also know what he's doing, how it makes you feel like. So I feel at this point, there's really no 2 ways about it, because if you decide to stay with this person, it's very obvious that he's not willing to change, and just like he say, every time you say something, he would say he didn't mean it that way, and he's not considering his feelings. Like, this thing he's saying, how does it come out to you, or how will you perceive it, or how does it make you feel? If he tries to consider that, then he wouldn't say some silly comments. And for it to start being a cause of concern, it means it's been going on for a while. And I just feel you know what to do and you really need to have the mind to do it. But yeah, let's now start with the Am I the Asshole? So the first would be, am I the asshole for not paying 100% of the rent in our apartment? My boyfriend, 25 male, and I, 26 female, are planning to move in together sometime soon. We've been together for 2 years and it's been a topic of conversation many times, but always ends with no solution. Today, we got into it badly after I brought up a possible solution. For context, he isn't working right now and he's been looking for a job for about a month now. Even when he was working and before I made my promotion, I was still making more than he was by like $1 or $2. But now, in this new position I'm in, I make times two what I was making before, so I can afford a lot more than I used to. So, for example, he was making around $40,000 a year, and now I make double that. With that being said, we both agreed to live in a two-bedroom apartment, but I said I didn't want to pay more than $1,800. We live in Florida. She added that in the bracket. When he did have a job, I said we could either go 70-30 or 80-20, whichever one would be easier for him. I didn't mind paying more in rent because I can afford it compared to him, but he's been feeling sad and not in the greatest mood because of his current financial situation. So I offered to get a one-bedroom and he could live rent-free so he could pay his debt, hoping he would have a job by the time we move. He didn't like this idea because he didn't want to live in a one-bedroom because there isn't enough space, hence why we agreed on a two-bedroom. I did not want to pay for a two-bedroom for him to stay rent-free because it would be more money in rent compared to the one-bedroom. He said it is selfish and disgusting knowing that I can pay at least 2K in rent, that I would make him pay rent in the one-bedroom after he clears his debt. I am trying my best to be helpful by offering him to live rent-free, but I'm afraid of being taken advantage of, and I've expressed that to him as well. I have thought about getting the two-bedroom and he could live rent-free for a few months, which we would agree upon until his debts were clear and he could pay what he could afford. For this one, I feel I wouldn't call you an asshole, but I feel if you're dating someone, you call someone your partner, I feel there should be a little bit of consideration, because if you were to be in that position, I feel like you guys wouldn't be having this conversation. That is just my opinion. So if you truly love this person and you call this person your partner, I feel like this wouldn't be a big deal. And you having your fears of being taken advantage of is understandable. But then again, if you know the kind of person you're dealing with or the kind of person you call your partner, then I feel you should have a better understanding as to who you're dealing with. So that means you wouldn't have the fear. And if you have the fear, then probably you don't love this person as much as you think. Because I feel if the case was reversed and it was your boyfriend in this situation, I feel like men always, or irresponsible men, more men that I know, tend to shoulder responsibilities without complaining. So if you truly love the person, I feel like so long he has also shown that he's actively looking for work, and this is someone who means business, just that at this moment life is just not favoring him, you should also consider all this part. But if after considering it you feel like you can't help this person, then I think that might not be your partner. So no, you're not the asshole, but at the same time you can do better. The next story would be, am I the asshole for refusing to pay my mom's rent? For some background information, my mom is 50 years old. I am 29 with an 18-month-old toddler. I have two siblings, 27 female and 22 male. 22 male still lives with her and pays half the rent. My mom got let go of her job a while back and has been doing odd jobs since. I have been trying to get her to apply for easygoing jobs, but she refuses. And this poster types the refuses in caps. It means she really refuses. My friend got hired through the agency I was going to take my mom and talked about how easy the job was, but still she refused to go. My mom is completely able-bodied. I feel like she is young. My co-worker is way older than her and she's still working. Recently, whenever she comes over, she will brag about how my sister, 27 female, has been giving her $300 a month for her rent and throwing indirect comments at me. Instead of offering her a monthly allowance, I said, Mom, if you don't want to work anymore, I can take care of you. I will sleep in the living room and you can sleep in the master's bedroom. I won't charge for rent and she won't have to worry about food. In brackets, the poster wrote, I can't afford to give her a monthly allowance because I pay my house rent alone and I don't rent a room like my siblings because I have a kid now. She got offended and said I had no mercy for her. I just don't know how to handle this situation. She says that she took care of us for 18 years, so she deserves for us to take care of her from now on. The thing is, she is 50 and completely healthy. So we can be taking care of her 30 years plus if God grants us life. No, just pray for us. I've been feeling so guilty since she said I had no mercy. Am I wrong for not picking up an extra job or something to be able to help out? I mean, that is a possibility. No, you're not the asshole. And I'm one of the few people who still believes in it is your parents' responsibility, full and due diligence to take care of you. So the statement of I took care of you for so amount of years, so it's my time for you to take care of me. I feel like that is up to the individual to decide if they want to or not. It shouldn't be compulsory, because every child is entitled to their parents taking care of them. It is their responsibility as your parents to take care of you. So I feel that's an emotional blackmail to say I took care of you for so amount of years, so it's your time to take care of me, because she was just doing her job. But if you want to help, you can help. And saying that you're in a position that you can't really help, there's not so much you can do. Just try your best and leave the rest. If your sister is able to afford $300 rent for her every month, it's fine. Let your sister do what she can do, and you also do what you can do, and try not to beat yourself up about it. That even if she feels that is her right, it's fine, and it's very okay and very normal for you to do that. But if you can't, then there's no need to kill yourself over it, because it's not like you're saying you don't want to. It's just that you just cannot, and she's refusing to work. So yeah, there's not much you can do. Just make sure that it doesn't have so much hold on you. So yeah, guys, I just noticed that all my am I the asshole today has to do with family. It all involves family. But let's move on to the next story. Am I the asshole for not being willing to take care of my grandma for a week so my family can go on vacation? I, 21 male, live with my parents, 65 male and 65 female, along with my grandmother, 93 female. Wow. I was never good at school in my whole life and dropped out of college due to many factors, and decided to focus on working with the goal of becoming a full-time library assistant. I believe that I'll be able to get there, especially due to previous work experience and connections, but right now I just work retail. In the past, I have had trouble getting 30 minutes off a shift with 2 weeks notice. Had a manager schedule me for work on the day of a wisdom truth extraction, even after I gave a month's written notice, and have been fired for having COVID. Wow. My mom asked if next year her, my dad, my older sister and brother-in-law could go on vacation and I could take a week off to watch my grandmother who has dementia. I told her no, because I have had previous bad experiences in getting time off as a replaceable employee, and that she would have to prepare her vacation and I will be the only one available to watch my grandmother. If I got the time off denied, I'll be forced into a position to quit a job so my family could have a vacation. I also believe that dementia will get much worse in a year, to the point where it wouldn't be a one-person job anymore to look after her. I feel like I could be the asshole because my family does deserve a vacation from everything and I could find another job, but it's more about the bigger picture. I am at a point in my life where I am trying to build up savings and get my life in order, and I want to make it clear that I am not expendable and won't drop everything so that everyone can go on vacation. First and foremost, why is the family going for vacation without you? And I understand that someone has to take care of grandma, but at the same time I feel like if you can squeeze out for a vacation, then you can definitely squeeze out for a caretaker for grandma. And also saying that you've also had so many negative experiences with taking off from work. It is not as easy finding a job compared to going on a vacation. So I feel you should just try to have the conversation with them and explain your own side of things, to explain where you're coming from and tell them as to why you can't look after grandma, not because you don't want to and not because you don't want them to have a family vacation, but because it's going to cost you more for something that when you compare the vacation to your work is one is above the other. So yeah, I feel like they would definitely understand. So I feel this should just be communicated as maturely as you can. And yeah, am I the asshole for not buying my wife a plane ticket so she is missing the family vacation? From the topic, let me not be quick to judge, so let's really let's really listen. My wife is horrible with money. At the beginning of our marriage, we pulled out money together and she would use all of it. Her job pays shit compared to mine, so when we combined the money, she went crazy. I had many conversations with her over it and tried to get her to take a money financial class. Over time, it got worse and worse. About a year ago, I learned she was in bad credit card debt. I gave her a close... Guys, the way this person types, I think the person is trying to say, I gave her the choice of divorce. Yeah, I think that's what the person is trying to say. I gave her the choice of divorce, or we separate our money and she needs to fix her debt ASAP. To her credit, she took it seriously and she's fixing her credit card debt. We have separate money and I pay for the bills, while her only worry is to buy groceries. My family has a big vacation coming up and everyone is invited. The trip is to Europe and plane tickets are going to cost $1,000 plus. My parents are going to pay for the resort, so the only thing needs to be paid for is the plane ticket and fund money for the trip. I plan on going. She informed me that she will not be able to afford the ticket. I point out the trip is in about 4 months, so she should be able to save up. She informed me that she needs to use it for her credit card debt in order to get it paid off. I told her okay, and I will inform my family that she can't make it. This started an argument that I am not willing to pay for her ticket and me going on vacation without her. I told her this is her own fault and if she was responsible with money, we would be there. So am I the asshole? I feel like you are the asshole in a way, I can't really say the full picture because sometimes it's so easy to hear stories like this, I'm wrong with it, and be like, oh, you're the asshole and the rest, but you don't really know how the financial situation has been and how the wife's reaction or attitude has been throughout the period of time as to why he's this angry or upset as to going down this lane. So you should also consider that. But if that is not the case, that she's just, I feel like, guys, just be compassionate sometimes. I feel like compassion and mercy would have gone a long way in this situation. Yes, she has a bad credit card debt, but you're also the same person who says she has actually taken it serious and has been working on fixing her credit. So you can see that there's a change in behavior. It's not just about apologies, she's actively trying to do better. So, and I feel like you said you have enough money to cover it, so it wouldn't cost you so much. So I don't get why you're punishing her with this. You can punish her with any other thing, but at least not this. It takes nothing. It's a family vacation. Wouldn't you want to go and enjoy your vacation with your wife? I don't understand. So yes, in my opinion, you're actually the asshole. It wouldn't cost you anything. You can punish her with another thing, but not something as serious and petty as this, when she's actively trying to do better. Anyways, the next story would be, am I the asshole for taking the family on vacation without my wife and stepdaughter? How is it a family vacation if your wife and stepdaughter is not there? Let's get into the story. My stepdaughter is in high school and has a best friend she's known since they were babies. My wife and I have 2 children together. My stepdaughter's best friend has a birthday in December. We're all aware of her birthday because we attend it every year. This year, my side of the family planned to take a huge overseas Christmas vacation, which required us to ask the friend's mother for the party date. We planned and bought our tickets to leave 2 days after the party so that my stepdaughter wouldn't miss it. Monday, my stepdaughter came home and told us that the party date was moved to accommodate some of her friend's family members who decided last minute to fly in for it. The problem is that the date was moved to one well after our departure date. Here's the problem. First, we are not made of money, so for us to change the flight and hotel for our family will more than double the cost. Second, it will be a 2 weeks overseas trip. So I already had my vacation approved and can't change it. If we fly out after the party, my vacation will be cut down to only a week. Third, I only get to see some of my siblings only at Christmas. So if I don't go this year, I won't see them until next year. Fourth, my entire side of the family planned our vacation around the party date months ago. My original solution was to tell her friend's parents to keep the original date since my family planned around their schedule. My wife immediately shut down that idea. My second solution was for us to leave as planned, but change only my stepdaughter's ticket since she's on break and is old enough to fly herself. My wife shut that down too, since she's also friends with the other mother and wants to go to the party. Guys, I've already changed my opinion even before we finish the story. Anyways, my wife's solution is for us to just fly out after the party. I don't like this idea at all because of the added cost and listening time. Our talk turned into arguments that lasted all week. Last night, my wife put her foot down, said that we are not missing the birthday party, to which I replied that she is not missing the birthday party. I don't even understand. I'm just reading as the person wrote it. I told her I am flying out with our 2 kids as planned, whether she's on the flight or not. That took our argument to the next level, to the point my stepdaughter called me an asshole. So I tried to ground her, at which point my wife said I couldn't because she was justified. Everything is a mess now. Updates. There are 2 common questions and I think I should answer. First, it's a sweet 16th birthday party. It's going to be huge with over 100 people in attendance and catered food. I've been told almost everyone in their class is attending. The other mother and my wife, that's the second reason, or the second question. The other mother and my wife have been friends since the birth of their girls. She helped my wife through her divorce, so I'm guessing she was married before him. And my stepdaughter stayed with them for days at a time during the worst part of that process. Now I'm done with the story. I'm conflicted. I wouldn't say you are an asshole. You are not an asshole because you already offered 2 solutions. That is to either fly alone and they meet you, or for your stepdaughter to stay and then she meets you. So I feel like you've given them so many things to work with. But since I feel like your wife is not just being reasonable, because it's very understandable for she and the daughter to stay, considering that it is a sweet 16, so it's like they're actively marking it, so it's like a big deal. Of which, since the girls have known each other from birth, it would just be so nice to be there, and saying that everyone from school would be there and their mothers have known each other since when they were a baby. So it would just make more sense for the wife and the daughter to be, and you on the other hand, since you say you only get to see your siblings just Christmas period, and also I would not want to cut down my vacation for anything. Honestly, that thing really has to be super serious for me to cut down for my vacation. So I understand your part and you're not an asshole. I just feel like maybe you should just try to make your wife understand. And if she doesn't, I feel like you're allowed to go for the trip and meet your family members, because this is something that was planned such a long time from now, and you also cannot tell them to stick with the dates because they are in charge of the party and that's their family members. Like, you don't have the full picture as to why they couldn't fly in the first place, and it's making them to just come in all of a sudden. So yeah, I feel like just understanding and maybe a better communication will solve it. And if it doesn't, if I was in your shoes, I feel like I would go and then they will come meet me. Honestly, guys, I feel like I've been talking for such a long time, so let's move to our last story so I can get into what I've been watching and what I've been listening. So for the last story, is titled, "Am I the asshole for despising my mentally handicapped sister?" The headline of this specific story really captivated me. Am I the asshole for despising my mentally handicapped sister? The title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic. She requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She is non-verbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite the fact that she is only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her. That should be wrong to say, but it doesn't feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then, I've never solely had my parents' attention. Even since I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed a mark my school gave me, I was in the wrong. And I think she means MacBook. Along with this, I'm expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with friends because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. Even when I do somehow get time to myself, I am required to leave if they need me. If I do not, then I am punished. The recent example of this is when I went to see the new Spider-Man movie and was grounded because I turned off my phone in the theater. It seems as if I am nothing more than a slave to them, and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week, I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they are too busy with her. I've held this in for so long and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays so well so when they are gone, I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to break down. I cried and screamed about how it's always about her. I am nothing more than a caretaker to them, that they always make it about her and that I am expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I have locked myself in my room since then and my parents have not come to check on me. Am I the asshole here? Not at all. You're not the asshole. And I feel like you're not upset at your sister. I feel your hate is just going towards her because she is in the middle of it all. I feel like your anger, your frustration, everything is or should be directed to your parents because it is not your job to take care of your sister in as much as she is your sister. And I feel this is also something that we really need to consider as future parents to children, because no one plans to have a child that has any sort of psychological disorder or mental disorder. And when such happens, I feel like parents really need to be very intentional in making sure that the other siblings do not suffer from having to take care of their siblings, because that can lead to things like this where they just build in so much resentment, hate and displeasure about things like that. And most times you tend to find out that siblings like that often wouldn't want to have kids in the future because of experiences like that, because they are also very young. That's a part that we forget. They are also very young, and if you as a parent, it is so draining and exhausting taking care of that child. Imagine another child that literally did not sign up for it, having to do all of that. And I understand that it can be a lot, but that is why we all need to be considerate and really learn about things like that. Because in school, I also learned that when people are going through, let's say for example dementia, for example, it is necessary for those taking care of the person should also undergo therapy, because it can have so much negative effect on that person. Because imagine this person now, anything that has to do with her, the parents are not paying attention to her because all the attention is on her sister. And also it might not be intentional, and intentional or not, sometimes our reactions or our behaviors can cause trauma for some people. Like this person now, this person is just in so much trauma. And also I just feel like your parents really need to do better. And I feel if you can, I feel like you should try and tell them your mind in a respectable and calm manner. Just try that voice of reasoning. I'm always in support of talking to someone for the last time before deciding anything. So just try and express how you truly feel. Try and express it to them and see their reactions from that, and that will also determine how to move on with things. Well, I just want to encourage you to please, in as much as it is traumatizing, difficult, and painful, I feel you can, if you try to understand the trauma much better, you can cut your sister some slack. And just like you see, it sounds bad and it's something that you can always, it's not intentional, like she did something and you're hitting her. I understand that it's just the situation, the whole situation and how it's been treated is what is causing all of this. And yeah, your reasons for being angry and having all those resentment and all the emotions you're feeling is very, very valid and very normal that you feel this way. So that is why I would say maybe if you can just try to have a conversation with your parents about this that you're going through, and if you can, even if not now, later in the future, try to get a therapist that maybe can help you in resolving this trauma. But I believe if you're open to wanting to understand the situation for how it is, I feel like you'll be able to get clarity in some aspect, especially when it comes to your sister. Maybe you will be able to understand that you should be angry at the situation and your parents, not necessarily her. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Anyways, the person went on to drop another update. She said, "Wow, thank you all for the support and love that you guys have given me. I never expected this post to reach the popularity it did. Thank you all. After thinking about it for these past hours, you are right that I don't despise my sister. It's not her fault that she was born the way she is. My parents came to talk to me a while after my breakdown, but I was unable to bring myself to talk to them and only cried and asked them to leave. They have made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I'm getting ready to go to his house. This is just the perfect way to, handle the situation. You need time and space actually. So they've made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I'm getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk to me, but we have decided it's best I leave for now to have some space and time to collect myself. We will be sitting down and talking later this week about this issue. Thank you again for all the love and support through this." And then she said, "I will send an update later this week if people are interested." So I think people were interested and she gave an update. She said, "I am back like I said I would be. My original post got a lot of attention, and seeing as you guys seem interested, here's my update. Well, since that day I made the post, I've been staying with my grandfather. This week's been honestly a huge change for me, for better and for worse, but I'll try to run it down. I started by telling my grandpa the story of why I broke down the way I did, and to be honest, he seemed horrified. No one in my family knew my parents were using me as essentially a free care service for my sister. My grandpa told me some things that I don't feel repeating here, but in essence, my sister is supposed to be getting care from a professional and that my parents were ignoring it. Along with this, I was not supposed to be caring for her at all with her mental state, as apparently she is a danger to herself and others. With everything else, I told him. Along with stuff like the movie incident, he was really mad and he told me not to contact my parents without him there. Very good. He pretty much told me that he would be meeting my parents beforehand and that he was going to be there when I sat down with them, and it didn't end here either. The rest of the week consisted of other family members checking in on me and telling me things my parents hid from me. This included the fact that my parents have been making money from family to fund a caretaker that doesn't exist. My God. Suffice to say, this week has been rough, but the upside is that even through all this, my extended family has been giving me more love than I felt in a while. My grandfather spent this last week making up for the time I've lost, encouraging me to spend time with my friends and do what I want to do. My aunts and uncles have also been helping me through the week. Well, Saturday night, I sat down with my parents to talk. It went badly, to say the least. They came clean to me about everything. They told me things I will not repeat here, but they did not apologize. My parents still claim that I somehow owed my sister my time. My father even saying you were put here to be her caretaker. I won't lie and say I was composed. After everything I learned, I confronted them on the fact that my sister needs a caretaker. The money my dad was taking from his sister and few other things, they denied it or made excuses, and in the end, we ended off in a worse place than before. Today will be my last time talking to them for a while. After talking with my grandfather and uncle last night, I am not going back. Later today, I'm going there and picking up my stuff and moving in with my grandfather. When I graduate high school, I'm planning on leaving the state to go to school. My aunt has told me that the money she was sending my dad would instead be coming to me from now on, thankfully. My parents have called me twice since Saturday. Neither of them were to apologize and only asked when I was coming home. Guys, the story is still so long. But yeah, I am so sorry that you have to go through this. And this is what I'm saying, that parents with children that need professional care or assisted care, your other child or their sibling is not their responsibility. Their sibling shouldn't be their responsibility. If it's so much for you as a parent, imagine how it is for their sibling who is also just a child like them. I feel we can do better. We can do better as adults. Your other child or your other children are not caretakers for your child who needs help. They also deserve to live life and experience life as children and as any other kid would do. So please, we can do better. But anyways, let's get into what I've been watching this week. For this week, I've been able to only watch House of the Dragon and then Hotel Cocaine. Hotel Cocaine, I've been talking about it for a while now, and it just keeps getting bloody. Right now, it is just so bloody, and I really need you guys to give it a watch so I don't give spoilers. That is why I try not to share any information about the series, so I don't share any spoilers. But please give it a watch. Also, House of the Dragons, I feel like a lot of people are watching it, and per usual, you can just check my playlist to see what I've been listening to this week, and also to enjoy the playlist because I curated it specially for you guys. I have my playlist and then my playlist 2. My playlist is just for Nigerian songs, and then my playlist 2 is for any other song that is non-Nigerian, so you can just give it a listen, enjoy it. I made the playlist. I actually created the playlist for you guys to enjoy, so give it a listen. Let me know what you think, and yeah, thank you for joining me once more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to share, like this video if you haven't, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.